Hi, and welcome to the PRINCE2 Top Tip series brought to you by Planet IT Solutions. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at practitioner exam technique and provide you with some top tips in order to pass your practitioner exam. Let's get started. Number one, time management. Time will be your biggest challenge in this exam. Keeping in mind it's an open book exam, I guess they have to make it difficult in other ways. You're going to be faced with 8 questions. Each question counts 10 marks, and you of course need 44 out of 80 or 55% as the required pass mark. So in terms of time management, we stick to the 10, 15, 20 rule. Take the first 10 minutes of your exam and study your project scenario and learn as much as possible. After that, you have 15 minutes to spend on each question, and that will still leave you with 20 minutes of contingency time at the end. All of this, of course, adding up to the allotted 2.5 hours for your exam. Number two, project scenario only. So those first 10 minutes of the exam that you set aside to study your project scenario, only study the base project scenario that's applicable to your whole exam. Do not go ahead and try and cover off and study the additional information sections that will be applicable only to specific questions. This will confuse you at this point and will be a waste of your time. When studying your base project scenario, please look out for things like the reasons for the project, the end product of the project, the PPD, the number of stages involved, dates, amounts, plus minuses, which always indicates tolerances, roles and responsibilities. Highlight these things, underline these things. They will pop up late in the exam. Later in the exam. At number three, timeline. If you get told exactly how many stages your project has, which you probably will be, draw yourself this little timeline. The advantage of this is it will help you to visualize exactly where you need to apply the stage boundary process and where you need to apply the closing a project process. So as part of stage boundary processes, there's a few activities that you need to undertake, some of them being doing an in-stage report for the work just completed and putting together next stage plans for the work coming. Of course, as part of closing a project process, you don't do an in-stage report, however you do an in-project report, and there's no next stage plan that gets produced because you're in your final delivery stage. So there is no next stage to plan for. So be very careful. This will probably come up at some point. Where do you need to apply stage boundary process and where do you need to apply the closing a project process? At number four, read carefully. I can't stress this point enough. Every single question will have instructions for that particular question. They might include additional information within those instructions. They might refer to a specific process for that particular part of the question, and it's literally a case of one word can push you to the correct answer or the incorrect answer. The other thing, of course, to look out for is whether they require one answer or two. Remember, there's no half marks in this exam. So if they require one answer and you provide two, you will score 0 for that question. And if they require two answers and you only provide one, you will also score 0 for that question. So be very clear on whether you need to provide one answer or two. Number five, if you get stuck, move on. So if you get stuck on a question that you don't feel comfortable with, leave it, move on. Rather go ahead and score the easy marks later on in the exam with the questions that you do feel more comfortable with. And once you're done with that, come back to the questions that you struggled with. At number six, we have our danger words. If you spot any of these words in the exam, please proceed with caution and read extremely carefully. They are as follows: all, always, never, none, only. So watch out for these all-inclusive, all-exclusive blanket-like statements in the exam, as there's very few scenarios in PRINCE2 that these words are applicable to. If you spot an answer with any of these words in it, it is probably not your correct answer. Number seven, ensure that you answer every single question. If you run out of time, please guess the answers. If you leave questions unanswered, you definitely have them wrong. If you guess, there's still a chance that you might get them right. You won't be penalized, there's no negative marking in this exam. If you do finish up and there is still time left, double check your answer sheet, ensure that you answered every single question, that you gave one answer where required, that you gave two answers where required, and then get up and leave the exam room. Don't go back and try to redo the whole paper from question 1 onwards. Statistically, it's been proven you are more likely to go from correct to incorrect answers than you are to go from incorrect to correct answers. In summary then, firstly, manage your time efficiently. Secondly, read your project scenario only to start off the exam with. Draw yourself the little timeline if you get told exactly how many stages you're dealing with for your project. Read extremely carefully and ensure you give one answer where required or two answers where required. If you get stuck, move on, come back to that particular question later. Watch out for your danger words, all, always, only, never, none. And lastly, ensure that you answer every single question on your exam paper. I hope that you found this video useful. Please visit us on www.planetit.co.za or email us at info@planetit.co.za for more information. Good luck with your exams and watch out for more videos in our PRINCE2 Top Tip series. Thank you.